I keep thinking this isn't going to get more fun, but it does get more fun like every single time. I have a very special friend on today. We get to talk to Sarah Vanderpool today. I met Sarah last year at the Surge conference, and then we got to spend time this year today. I'm not going to cry already. How is that happening? I'm verklempt. But it was like I saw her get out of the car, and I didn't think she was coming, and I was like, all. And it was interesting. We haven't even talked about this, so this is like raw here. You're all the first to know, even before Sarah. But God had already been preparing my heart about something. And the minute she got out of the door, and later her and I had a very private conversation that validated everything God had already prepared me for. And I had said, I don't even have to pray about this. The answer is yes, because he had already told me this is what's going to happen. I'm like, what? I'm not old enough. No, just kidding. And so, yeah, it was kind of cool. So he's used Sarah to bless me in so many ways. And I know you're all going to be very much blessed. Just really quick, I want you to know about Sarah. I mean, she is such an encouraging mama. I love that she says she's trying to be Torah pursuant. So you can't be my friend if you're saying you're a Torah observant, because that means you and I can't play because I'm not there yet. So I think we're all pursuing this, and that's why we're here, because this is MESSI Antics. So all things are about her daughter. If you follow her on social media, you'll see that about her beautiful, beautiful girls, and helping other mamas live a healthy-ish life, living the life like a real life in a healthy way, right? Thank you for hanging out with me today, Sarah.
Oh, Charlie, what an honor. What an honor it is to just be on the other side of the camera with you. So I am truly honored, excited. Praise Abba. I think, like I was just telling Charlie, he has already prepared my heart for this. So I'm super excited to share with you all a little bit about my journey on this Torah pursuant journey, because it is a journey, right? Till the day we die. So real quick, it started for me in 2014. My husband and I had just moved into our new home. It was fall of 2014. I was pregnant with our fourth daughter. My older two were at school. They were in first and second grade. And then my third daughter, she was with me that day in the living room playing with her toys. And we were watching Sid Roth. It's Supernatural. And I remember sitting there, Charlie, and I had no thoughts in my brain, which is really strange for a mama, just to have a completely blank mind. And as I'm sitting there, out of nowhere, I hear in my spirit, I command you to homeschool. And it shook me to my core. And I did what any woman would do. I phoned a friend.
I was like, cast out the demon. Oh, wait.
I knew it was God. I knew he was talking to me because my spirit shook. And they talk about that still small voice, and that's exactly what it was. That's the best way to describe it. So I called a spiritual mentor at that time and season of my life, and I said, hey, does God command his people to do things? And she laughed and she said, Sarah, have you not read the front of the Bible? And I said, no, I just read Genesis. You know, I was a baby Christian, still learning. And I said, no, I haven't. So fast forward, 2015, I have my fourth daughter. I pull my kids out of school. I start homeschooling them. And Charlie, a newborn baby, 3 daughters, all under the age of 8, left this mama super tired. You talk about just exhaustion, weariness. I remember having a distinct conversation with the Father saying, when do I ever get a break? When do I ever get to rest? When do I ever get to have a free day? Was how I was talking to my daddy. He knew all along. So again, in that season of my life, how am I doing? Okay on time?
You're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Go. I want to hear this.
Okay, so we're homeschooling. It's our first year. And I got added to a Facebook group of local homeschoolers. Okay, so over here, I'm in this community of homeschoolers. Well, a dear friend of mine who also encouraged me as I started the homeschool journey, she added us to a homeschool book club for all girls. Well, we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we started this homeschool group, and they were reading the American Girl doll books. And one of the books we read was Rebecca. And any homeschool moms out there know Rebecca is a little Jewish girl. And in this book, we're reading the Sabbath, the lighting of the candles, the rest. And I'm like, what's the Sabbath? Like, what? So I've got that going over here, my first year homeschooling. Then in this homeschool group, there's a mom in there who is sharing about Shabbat. Every Friday night, she would say, Shabbat Shalom, hope y'all have a good rest. So I've got Rebecca, I've got this friend on Facebook sharing about Sabbath. I'm like, what is this? And Charlie, I knew I needed to keep Sabbath.
Wow.
And that really was the pivotal moment of my journey of being Torah pursuant.
I mean,
So,
American Girl doll book.
yes.
I love it so much. I do love that so much. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things that's been the common thread so far, for many of you listeners, you're gonna say, yeah, here's another person. Nobody was pounding you over the head, who was standing on a street corner screaming, preaching at you, making you watch videos, and giving you a bunch of pamphlets to read. And the reason I reinforce this as much as I possibly can is because many of you listening maybe have someone who you're praying for, that you're wanting the Holy Spirit to bring them into all truth. Let him. Because let the Holy Spirit guide that person, and I'll trust in that, because I don't know, very few of you, I maybe heard one person say that someone gave them a video to watch and they were like, oh, I think the video, The Way, and they're like, oh, right. It made them question, but for most of us, it popped off the page of reading it, and all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, it says forever, this is never ending, for all generations. What changed? And we started asking questions, and none of us were, I mean, it wasn't like you were just under a rock this whole time,
Yes,
you're an intelligent woman,
absolutely.
and you weren't joining a cult.
Yeah. Which I want to add, and I was like, okay, Abba, here we go. In this journey, Charlie, and I know you're weird, you're crazy. You mentioned cult. And where I'm at these days, I really receive it as a compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, when they say, oh, you're crazy or you're weird, I'm like, that's okay. I know I'm supposed to be peculiar. I know I'm different. And I rejoice in that, because then I'm not doing what the world does. And that to me shows truly, like, for me, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm still at this, and this will be our eighth Sukkot.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. This is so fun. we didn't do Sukkot until just several years ago, because even my mentors are for First Fruits of Zion, and I thought that was my, following. I didn't know how to do any of the things other than, so this is all, even in my 25 years walking through Torah, I didn't necessarily do the feasts and the festivals the right way. So I have lots of messy stories. I could probably have a whole year of just those for me, but I'm loving hearing that you're just taking one step at a time. And those of you that are watching on YouTube, and this is like blooper full, not free. I mean, we're just gonna, all bloopers here. It's not edited, but you're gonna see that this is all normal people, where you don't have weird horns growing out of our head, and we all look like normal people, and we're just walking out this messy, and all we want is him. And if it's not him, we don't want it.
Come on. Absolutely, Charlie. Oh,
Tell me a funny story about when it's got messy for you, or when maybe, you were trying to do something. You're like, wait, that's not how to do that. I don't know.
No, I will say, when we stopped Christmas, I will say what got messy, Charlie, and I'll be totally honest, I did it wrong. In the sense that, when you come into this walk, a lot of times you get angry. Like I was like, what? And you do the whole, like, I was lied to.
Yeah.
I don't, and Abba had to correct me, and I've repented. My sweet husband has really been gracious all these years. That I had to repent because I did not ask him. I didn't say, I just did it, Charlie. And we've had a lot of, growth, I'll say that. But he's been so gracious. And I think he's just like, yeah, she's not stopping this one, because I've done a lot of start and stop. And I was just telling him last night, like, God is so faithful. He's so good. And it got messy. It's been messy, but he is totally restoring. And he's still correcting me. And I think too, a lot of us, we learned the love part, like the loving the people where they're at, loving them if they don't know, loving them if they do know, loving them if they're hitting people over the head about the names, like still loving them. And I really believe that truly, just keep learning and allow the rebukes to come, because Abba's still going to teach you, right? Like you're still, it gets messy. Shabbat, the first Shabbat, I was like, do we light candles? Like, what do we do? And now it's totally different, but all my girls look forward to it. They know, like, Mama's not going to do this. Mama's like, they get Mama all to themselves, when the other 6 days I'm a hot mess. But come Shabbat, truly, it's a delight. It's such a delight. And it's been nothing but amazing.
I've heard you say in this, I'm just kind of heard you, this is, so much to be said in a short period of time. So I hope a lot of you are listening between the lines, because if you're hearing that, sometimes we can start things, and I'll speak to wives or husbands if you're listening, and maybe your partner is like, hasn't quite joined the journey, and you're just, can you just have some grace? And I have lots of friends who are walking out some cultural things with their husbands as out of love. And I want you to know that your covenant with your husband or with your wife is first. And the Holy One honors that covenant. So don't think, oh my gosh, everyone's going to think you don't have to be like a closet celebrator and be like, I'm pagan. Just honor your family where they are right now, and know that that's your first ministry. That's your first covenant. And I have friends who like secretly were like lighting candles in the closet because their family thought they were crazy. But now they're all, having Shabbat together, and their families love it. I mean, even if you just try to bake a bread or buy some bread or something, and you just have dinner, some of you just having dinner around the table on Friday is going to be a new thing. Can you just start simple? Please hear us. Elisa was here a couple weeks ago, and she was saying how she went out and bought like $1,000 worth of new dishes and did all these things because she thought that's what she had to do. And we just want to, if anything comes out of this that you're like, oh, I need to reach out to Sarah, I'm going to here's some other people who will get it, and I can ask some questions. And I pray that's what you're hearing from Sarah right now, is the grace in that, to walk this journey with grace and love.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, the way that Yeshua did as he walked along. Can you imagine if he didn't have that heart walking along going, can you believe they're doing that? Like, it's not like they're nudging each other up in heaven going, did you see her? I did not see that coming. Like, that is not happening, right?
Right.
It's not happening.
It's so true.
It's beautiful. So you have your sweet family, your sweet mama. Now, how did you get your mama to get along this? Like, did you rope her in?
Charlie, let me tell you. Thank you for asking. So I was part of a large women's ministry, and she supported me through all of that, and thank the Father that was part of the journey. She stays with me occasionally, and some of those few years, Charlie, the first few years, My mama got the brunt of it. She would see me wail and weep at the table going, Mom, I just got to do this. Like, I have to follow this. Like, and I would go, Mom, look what it says here, forever. Mom, look, it says that for even the sojourner. Like, Mom, look. And Charlie, she just sat there and she listened. And praise Abba for my mom. In fact, she called me today and she goes, Mija, you're going to do great. Yah's already prepared you for this. Like, I know that. And so she knows now, she's like, Mija, I've never heard stuff like this taught in the church. Like, I never read my Bible. I've never knew about Sabbath. We were taught it in Catholic school, but Mija, it's all new to her. But the thing about it is, it's new to us. But Charlie, when your spirit and the knower just know, you just know. You don't doubt it. You just know. You can't explain it. And I believe my mom too just knows.
That's why when many of you maybe are thinking you're gonna, I got to beat it over the head, or I've got to prove it, or I know for me, for example, I don't know if you felt this way, Sarah, but I felt like if someone asked me questions, how am I going to answer? Now I've been a pastor for most of I was born in church and then a pastor for most of my adult life. I don't know. And I would still have those questions of like, oh, what if they ask me this? And I hang around some women who I feel like they know everything. And I'm like, I feel stupid. But what if they ask me? I'm not going to know how to tell them. And I realize that now, some of you who might have ever been in a multi-level marketing company, you are going to recognize this phrase. Here we go. This is what he said I could say. So he will use everything you learn for such a time as this. I say this. I'm not really sure about that, but what I know is this. All I know is this is what the word says. And I just read more. Would you go back in there and just read it again and ask him for the Holy Spirit to lead you in all truth? Because debating with you is not what the word says we're supposed to do. And I never will do it over a text message or anything. I'm like, this means so much, too much to me to have a text message conversation with you. But here's what I know. My family is stronger than they've ever been before, because he said, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. My testimony is this, that my family now and my marriage is stronger. My family is stronger because it says that if I do these things, I will be blessed. And I had a conversation with someone recently and she was like, well, yeah, because we're blessed in this and this. And I said, yeah, but who's choosing? Because you can't choose the blessings and then say, I don't want to obey the commandments or obey the thing, because it's all in the same area. Who's choosing what you get to do? And I said, I'm just curious, would you help me out? And she was like, oh, that's a great question. So just ask really good questions. You don't have to know the answers. Just keep asking more questions.
Yes.
And you don't have to know the answers. Whoever needed to hear that today, you don't have to know. You don't have to be a Bible scholar. You can just say, I don't know the answers to all this, but what I know is this. And give them your testimony.
Charlie, Abba just confirmed something to me today with what you just said. See, I'm not a great speaker. I don't have a website. I don't even have a Strong's Concordance. I am a mom. I am a wife. I know I'm a daughter of the King, and I love him.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little girl from the desert who loves to run up on her daddy's lap and just tell him thank you for saving me. And I see him all throughout my life. But you're right in that we don't have to know everything. Charlie, I don't know everything, but I know this. I know he's real. I know he loves me. I know he's for me. I know he has good plans for me. And so I'm going to walk in that. And every day, even on my hardest days, I will call out to him, and I pray that his name will forever be on my lips.
Amen. I mean, as that's everything. That's everything. You're such a blessing to me. Hey guys, and just so you know, she's so minimizing her. I love that you're like, I don't have a book. I don't have a this. So I will make sure all the places on social media, because you are going to want to follow Sarah. You're going to want to be her friend. You're going to want to like her. I have to ask you some rapid fire questions right now. So are you a dog or a cat person?
Dog.
Who's your favorite? Which one of your kids is your favorite? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't answer that.
I'm totally
Nope.
kidding. So would your 12-year-old self think that you were cool?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Do you speak more than one language?
Pig Latin.
I heard you say, mija, so no habla español?
Oh, poquito.
Oh, poquito y mal. I'm doing Duolingo. So everyone's like, oh, you're learning Hebrew? No, actually, I'm learning Spanish. I'm 4 years of Spanish, and I can conjugate a mean verb and tell you how to get to the bathroom. That's it. So I'm working on my Spanish right now. Okay, if you're going to write a book, what would it be about?
The stuff they don't tell you about motherhood.
Ooh, can you give me an example? What's one of the things?
One of the things is, I don't remember reading a book about after you have a baby, all the funky stuff that happens to your body at home, and you're asking for help from your husband, and you're doing these weird, like, help
There's
me.
things you shouldn't know. There's things you shouldn't know. And
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that. Okay.
Yeah. But yes,
yeah, my husband's like, la, 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 la. I love Call the Midwife, and he's like, oh, no. Like, no.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Good. That's good. I agree with you. I think we need that. I think that needs to happen because because we're so isolated from one another, that information isn't shared anymore with our younger girls. And it needs to be. So what's your favorite rainy day activity?
Rainy day activity. Oh, wow. Probably now I'm trying to be a more present mom, and my little one reminds me all the time. She told me yesterday, Mom, can you make me dinner? Can it be love? It was so sweet. She would probably want to go play in the puddles, and I would probably be like, yeah, let's just go.
Yes.
So
I love that. One of the things I was sharing with Dr. Deb yesterday, we were talking, I was interviewing her, and she was saying, we're talking about being grandparents. And one of the things I would write a book about as far as motherhood, that maybe you need to write a book and let all of us write it, like a blurb or a chapter in it. That would be cool. Because one of the things as a mom, I know my daughter's 31, and I'm continually telling her that the thing I regret the most is not having the tea parties, not playing dolls with her, not stop. Because when I now have a rocking chair filter, if it can't pass the rocking chair test, then I'm not going to do it. I'm like, if I'm on my porch when I'm 90, sipping my favorite drink, am I going to regret not doing this? And if the answer is yes, then I'm going to stop everything and do it. And so I'm not a grandma, a really good grandma now because, I can send them back when they misbehave. I hate that. That's not the reason, is because I know it matters now. I know it's important. And I love hearing that from you, that it's go jump in the puddles. I go to the water park and go down the slides. I jump on the trampoline. Ain't nobody want to see that, but I don't care. I do not care because they remember and they think it's so fun and they want me to be with them. So until there's going to be a moment they don't, right? Our kids. So jump in the puddles, my friend. How do you cope with hardship?
You know what? That's a great question, Charlie. And I was just telling my mom today, I said, Mom, I've learned I go like this. Like I have to do a physical, like I'm throwing this up to you. If I'm having a moment with my girls, if I'm having a moment with my husband, if I'm hit with something, I'm like, Abba, like, just take this. Like I have to do a physical thing to remind myself, like, I can't control.
I know a good book about that.
Yeah, I know. A really great one. Highly recommend it. Yeah. I try to just.
That. And for those of you you're not watching the video, you'll see she's lifting her hands and throwing it all up in the air. And I think that's the best thing. I heard you say, as we close this out, I know these go way too fast. I heard you say, and you're knower. That's one of my favorite things to say, because I think we do. And you're knower. If you have questions about something, if you stop, just be quiet. because you will know in your knower, because that's how he speaks to you. He speaks to you in your knower. He's not loud. He's not in the, remember, he's not in the earthquake or in the tornadoes or the fire or the earthquakes. He's not in the wind. He's in that still small voice. And I heard you say that. And if we're still, that's the one thing I love about Yom Kippur. He taught me this year about my essence connecting with him. It was ridiculous, amazing, best Yom Kippur ever. Special, sweet. But I want to encourage anyone listening is just stop and listen, because I think there's a lot of chaos and turmoil, but he left you the gift of shalom. That's that peace, that unfractured place in the midst of the chaos.
Yes.
You can stand there and still know when you're nowhere. Any final words for us, Miss Sarah?
One final thing. Thank you for that. If you're wondering where to start, honestly, start with the Sabbath. I feel like that is what every mom truly, I mean, coming from a mama heart, because I'm a mom of 4 girls, start with Shabbat, and it doesn't have to look any particular way. And just like when you tell your daughter or your son to go clean their room and they don't clean it exactly how you like it, you go in there and you're like, okay, they tried. I feel like that's what Abba does with us. Yeah. He sees us wanting to be obedient, and it's going to be messy. So start with Sabbath.
And he loves it. He loves it. Thank you for sharing that, because I believe that we have that heart, because that's his heart. And so that's where we get it from. Can I just say, you look just like your dad? You look just like Abba, inside and out. Thank you for being that reflection of him in your heart, in your desire, in your friendships, in your relationships with your family, and being just a light for that. And I just love you and appreciate you.
I love you too, Charlie. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my messy journey.
Yay, blessings. And just remember, it is messy, y'all, but he loves us in the midst of our mess.